let's get right into it. Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is fed up. I mean, fed up might be a little strong, but frustrated, I think, is apropos. Here's what he said today.
I think that ultimately, for me personally, I think that I want to be able to be involved, because at the end of the day, it's your legacy, it's your team's legacy, it's the guys you get to go into the huddle with, and at the end of the day, those guys you got to trust.
Can I tackle this first, Rob?
Please do.
All right. I think now Russell is saying he wants some say. He said it when they fired Brian Schottenheimer. He wanted some say on the new guy. And, today he's flexing a little more. Yeah, I think I should have some say. He also mentioned, a little later on that he's tired of getting sacked so much. Rob, he's been sacked 441 times. All right, that is 100 times more than the next nearest quarterback since Russell entered the league. So he's saying, look, I want to have some say. He's not saying I want to run the team. I got to pick the next coach, the next coordinator. I want, pick my own offensive linemen and receivers. And he's just saying, I'd like to be involved somehow. And here's where I think this is coming from, Rob, because we know it's not just Russell Wilson. We know that it is Deshaun Watson now in Houston. Tom Brady this year. Bruce Arians, Antonio Brown's not a fit. He doesn't, we don't need him in our locker room. Tom Brady, look, I want him. The dude, he can play. I can keep, he likes me. He listens to me. He'll be fine. They go out and get him. He catches a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Rob Gronkowski, not old, but out of the league. Brady wants him. He catches 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Leonard Fournette, gets cut by one of the worst teams in football, and they go and get him, and he ends up playing a big role in their playoff run. So these guys are watching that, but I think part of it too, Rob, is that nowadays we in the media, and we control, let's face it, we control the bulk of the narrative. All the media guys combined, and particularly those on television during the daytime and afternoon and radio shows like we are and stuff like that. We control the narrative. And we have gone so overboard. I'm not being overly critical, but I'm just overemphasizing a little bit. We put so much emphasis on winning championships. And it is almost like, of course, in reality, we recognize how great Aaron Rodgers is. We recognize how great Kevin Durant or, James Harden is and all these guys. But we nonetheless, in the moment, when Harden's done or, older, if he doesn't win a championship, we'll give him major props. Oh, he was great, man. I don't know if anybody but Jordan was a better scorer, all that. But in the moment, right now, we kill the dudes that don't win championships. Even if you got one like Russell Westbrook or Wilson does. It's been a while. It's been a long time. And we harp so much on winning a title that it almost feels like if you don't win the championship, you're garbage. Your season was a waste. You did nothing. And that's not fair, but I think these dudes are saying, look, if that's how it's going to be, you heard Russell say, this is my legacy. If that's how it's going to be, if I'm going to be the guy getting blamed, I'm going to be the guy getting crushed, I'm going to be the guy having my career underestimated because I only won 1 championship or didn't win any championships, then I want some say. And I'm not saying they're looking at Aaron Rodgers, but I will use him as an example. We know he's one of the best to ever throw the football, maybe the best. That's certainly arguable. But because they didn't put the defense around him, because they haven't drafted a skilled position player in who knows how long. And maybe that's not the only reason, but certainly that's a big part of it. He's only got 1 ring and 1 appearance in the Super Bowl. And that hurts his legacy as great as it still will be. So I'm with it, man. I'm with these dudes saying, look, As long as they don't go overboard, like you said, you can't run the franchise. You can't pick the GM and all that. But to have a say, to have things run by you, to be able to voice your opinion and have it be heard, totally legitimate. Totally legitimate.
Could not disagree more. And Russell Wilson, hello, is this microphone on? This is for you, Russell Wilson. Maybe if you didn't throw a touchdown, an interception at the 1 yard line, your legacy would be looking better. Were you sacked on that play? Did they not defend for you? Do you remember that play? So when guys want to nitpick and talk about this ain't working and I need this, and you better be careful what you wish for when you start dissing your offensive line and talking about how terrible they are. If you think it was bad before, you watch and see. Maybe somebody might step aside once or twice to let you.
Not gonna do that.
Guys have already admitted it that it's been done.
They ain't doing that. They'll get cut.
It's been done before, and I'm just telling you, you better be careful who you're ripping, and those guys protect you.
Is he saying anything wrong?
And
he's been sacked 100 times more than anybody else.
Let me finish, though. Let me finish.
Those
saying. Guys are out there working too.
They're not trying to give up. Successful.
Chris, can I talk?
You know that. All right, go ahead.
Like you're the only one trying out there. How dare you go out there and rip on your teammates? You know what? Did you rip on Pete Carroll and say it was the dumbest call ever when they asked you to throw the ball in the end zone with the best running back in the league? I don't remember that speech. Where was that speech that you need a new coach and a new offensive coordinator? You didn't make that speech. That's why you don't have 2 Super Bowls, because they did the dumbest thing I ever heard in the history of football. And you have the nerve to talk about some offensive line that has protected you for the most part. There are going to be times and situations where you get sacked. It's a part of the game. You're not unique. You're not different. You're like everybody else. Quarterbacks have been getting sacked forever. They're trying to protect you. Maybe the guy on the defensive line is just better. There are better players. You're going to rip the guys who couldn't protect you from Lawrence Taylor or Aaron Donald? Sorry. Those are legendary players. This whole notion that you need to, what say? You want to go draft the offensive lineman? You're doing scouting now? You're going to scout who the best offensive linemen are? This is preposterous. What kind of NFL is this where you're worried about that? Worried about what players? Worried about the offensive line. Yes, you want more players, and you want the team to get the best players available. But the notion that they're not trying to do their jobs to earn their pay, earn their keep, is ridiculous. Russell Wilson, stop it. This whole notion. Don't throw an interception in the end zone. Win the second Super Bowl. You're the reason why your legacy is where it is. Nobody else.
Rob, aren't you the one always saying the players need to do something about them not hiring black coaches?
No, they need to do something about getting, not hiring black coaches and having a better.
That's getting involved with personnel.
A better what you call it.
That's getting involved
I didn't
with
say that
personnel.
they need to pick who the guy is, but
They're
they
not
can
saying
talk
that
about
either.
it.
They're not saying they want to pick.
Not
They're
buying
saying
this.
they want to say.
I'm not buying this.
It's just you speaking out of both sides of your mouth.
No, I'm not. I'm
you
very
are.
consistent.
On the one hand, they should do
he
something
doesn't
to
know
get a
who the
black
best
coach,
offensive
but
lines
don't say
are.
nothing about coaches.
No, I didn't tell him that they should.
And since when in professional sports do you get credit for trying?
Because that's
it's
part
about
of it, Chris.
delivering.
No, it ain't. Everybody can't deliver.
Is.
And just like everybody
and
can't win the Super Bowl every year. That doesn't mean that you didn't try. That doesn't mean you didn't try or play well.
You don't get points for trying.
No.
This is a dog-eat-dog league.
I'm not buying. Yes, you should get rid of.
And so is the NBA.
So they should get rid of all of the offensive linemen for the 10 worst teams, right?
If you
just
don't
get rid of all
hold
of
your
them.
weight, if you don't pull your
I ain't
weight,
buying that.
then you're going to get criticized. We criticize them. You
It ain't
criticize
about
people that
criticizing
don't
them.
deliver.
Those guys are
people
trying to
that don't
protect
deliver.
them. That's ridiculous.
What?
That's a bad move by Russell Wilson. A bad move.
He has been sacked 100 times more than any other quarterback in the league since he's joined the NFL. It's not like he's sacked, middle of the road or even the worst in the league by 1 or 2.
All I know is in the beginning of the season, the first 7 weeks, he was having an unbelievable,
while running for his life, like he has
season.
his whole career.
He was putting up unbelievable numbers, and I'm sure that they were holding the line for him. So now all of a sudden, when things go bad, now you're going to blame them. I'm not buying it.
He's been running for his life his entire career.
Not
you
buying
know that.
it.
That's his
I'm not
calling
buying
card. He scrambles. He gets out of the pocket. He makes
Some
things
quarterbacks
happen.
run into sacks as well, and they put their linemen in a bad position because they don't stay in the pocket.
Do you take issue with Russell Wilson voicing his frustrations today?
All right, let's kick it off with blind Seahawks fan in Olympia, Washington. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
Nothing much. What about you guys?
We're doing good.
Great, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So, Rob Parker, stop it. Come on. He's gone sacked like 490 times in his career, 100 times more than other quarterbacks. He's lucky he hasn't had an injury yet. I'd be frustrated if I were him. You're right, though. He did have a bad play in that interception at the 1-yard line. But come on. Like, really? Like, let the man be frustrated. He needs an offensive line. Like,
you can be frustrated. You don't need to call out your offensive line in public. I'm telling you, it's a bad move by a quarterback. It doesn't work. It's not going to get anything fixed or make people feel good about him or want to block for him.
It wasn't the offensive line. It was the scouting. He's trying to tell the scouts to draft, like, offensive line.
Okay, do it behind closed doors. Don't do that on public. It sounds bad.
It's 2021. That's not how that works nowadays.
All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Call.
What about
Good call.
Matthew in Winnipeg? You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. Winnipeg in Manitoba, correct?
Yeah, that's it. It's cold here. You're right. It's really cold. We're in the minus.
In the minus? I've never
bet.
been to Winnipeg. There's like 6 Canadian cities I need to get to. I've been to every
Don't
continent.
come here. It's cold.
Don't come? I can't come in the summer?
It's cold. Yeah, it's not bad. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm with you, though, Rob. You sold me. At first, I was looking at this at a liberal approach. Yeah, okay, but even the Deshaun situation, similar. This all seems like, why not give them a chance? But you're right. This is a bad move. You're right. When you say this kind of stuff, your locker room is going to see all these waves. Everybody hears all this stuff. They're looking at him now. Oh, you think you're bigger than us? Especially after you've got these big contracts. This makes no sense. I agree. These players can't NBA it. They don't control everything. Maybe they should look at Pete Carroll, who's been there since the Louisiana Purchase, and maybe they should look at that kind of thing.
I love it, Matthew. He listens to the show. Chris, he
Matthew,
dropped in the
you need to
Louisiana
pick some better
Purchase.
stuff to say.
I love that. Good material. Very good, Matthew. Marty
Don't
in
say
Kentucky.
that anywhere else, Matthew. Do yourself a favor.
Marty in the Louisiana Purchase. Marty in Kentucky. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
Hey, fellas, I'm going to get straight to the point. You both made good points that I agreed with. Rob, I do agree that it's not the best idea when you're risking upsetting your teammates and making it look like you're putting them down. Russell Wilson's my favorite quarterback in the league. And I will say this. I agree with what Chris said. The pressure of winning a championship in the NFL is so big. The Super Bowl is so big. Everybody watches it. And it has an effect on these guys when they're watching Tom Brady have the power to go somewhere and make decisions. But experience matters in any job. And the man's 43 years old and been around a long time. He is 7 years older than Mike Tomlin was when he won a championship. It's a unique situation when a guy has that much experience and goes somewhere and he's a free agent compared to being much younger on a contract.
No doubt, Marty.
I hear you. And
I think that's a fair point.
I would think, Rob, that Russell Wilson has the respect of his teammates to the point where I don't think they're going to look at this in the negative like that because they haven't done their job.
I disagree.
It'd be one thing if they were doing it. They know they've been giving up a record number of sacks. And I'm not even just trying to jump on them at this point. Like, they know. You know what I'm saying? If you're not getting it done, then if I'm getting it done or at least playing as well as most people in the league, then I'm going to be upset. Why you calling me out? But I'm not getting it done on the offensive line. So what am I going to say? Or it's also sometimes, with Deshaun Watson, Rob, remember, the locker room told him You speak for us. When you say you want some say, we want you know, it was like he was representing the whole team. So I don't know. Is there something like that going on here? Some of the captains, I don't know. But